today we are being hosted here at TNL Hotel, a hotel that is based in Bamburi, just behind Mwatamba Police Station. It's a very good hotel. Come and discover the serenity. We are here, and we are here saying that it's a very beautiful hotel, and you'll come and experience it. It has very beautiful sceneries, has very beautiful rooms for you to sleep, and food, you cannot even talk about it. We encourage you to come and just have a taste of the serenity in this hotel. So, Mr. Jerome.
Yes.
So the statistics are shocking, and when you mentioned about single parents, especially single mothers experiencing gender-based violence, I was shocked, and it was really interesting, and I was wondering, how come? Why is it a concern when it comes to single mother and gender-based violence, them getting remarried? When they get married now, why is the gender-based violence now increasing? Why are we seeing the increase?
First, maybe before we can proceed,
yes,
we can share the hotline numbers for this audience who are listening to us, because most of them, wherever they are caught in a problem, they don't know where to run, on how to do it, where to seek help. So today, I think if you can open by sharing the hotline numbers, which are all of them are toll free.
Yes.
You don't pay. Usikiwe kama una credit that you cannot call, you call it, and help will be on your way.
Yes. Now, to just mention, if you need assistance on gender-based violence and you are based in Mombasa, we have a toll-free line that you can call and get assistance. The number is 0800 720 587. It will be displayed on the screen, but it's important for you to know that these services, they're just a phone call away. And I will repeat the number. Toll-free number on gender-based violence in Mombasa is 0800 720 587. Now, apart from that number, because you also want to assist and be able to help, I have here other numbers that you can also be able to call and get assistance as quick as possible. And we have, if you want to report all forms of gender-based violence, we have mentioned that number. You can be able to call that number. Or gender-based violence hotline, this is countrywide, I think so. It is 111195. Then we have child helpline, especially if you have cases of that relates with a child. You can also be able to call 116 if you're going to be helped. These are all free toll-free lines that you can be able to call and get assisted. Don't keep quiet. There's an assistance that you can easily call, and it's only a toll-free call away from you. So you utilize these numbers, and let's make our society become a gender-based free society. Yes. So thank you for reminding me that. So we can continue after maybe I've shared those numbers. Yes.
Thank you for sharing the numbers.
Yes.
And let us make use of those numbers. It's not necessary that you are the survivor or the victim of the gender-based violence, but you can also share with anyone who is close to you.
Yes.
And I don't mean being close in terms of blood relations, but even your neighbor is close to you, right?
Who is the neighbor? The good Samaritan.
The good Samaritan in school, in the matatu, when you're having a conversation, it should click into your mind that there is an issue with GBV, and I have a number here. Okay, when you are talking about football, number ni aje, kuna kanamba hapa hivi, in case kinaumana, this is how to go about. Okay?
Yes, that is true.
So, you talked about
back on the topic. Yes. I think there's a lot that needs to be talked about, especially on single parenthood and single mothers. And there are alarming statistics when they get remarried. The gender-based violence increase, or they're at higher risk of now being violated. So why is it, like an expert you have in this field, why is it like that?
Okay, first we have to agree that we should not condemn single parenthood.
Yes.
Because it's not something that comes out of your will. Okay, no one wants to be a single parent or a single father or a single mother. It comes because of circumstances, but still we need to navigate through it. And the most important, what comes in is the issue of the children. Okay, because with that parenthood, the word parent comes with kuna the father, the mother coming in,
Yes.
and the product is a child. And now we'll come in with the interest of this child, but at the same time, you have to look in a view that even the mother and the father has got a right that needs not to be violated. No, when you look at, especially if you can talk of single motherhood, you realize for the cases of SGBV, sexual gender-based violence, quite a number are coming out, especially to these children. You realize some men get into marriage or get into a relationship with this lady who has a daughter or a boy, and in the event, they end up violating this child. Okay, so what we have to know, most of the perpetrator to these matters of SGBV, they don't come from far away from us.
Yes.
Okay, and stepfathers being close to these children and having created a good relationship, these children tend to create trust in their stepfathers. And in the event, some of stepfathers ends up violating these children. We have had cases of defilement, and the father defiles this daughter. Like one you said, was not interested with the mother, was interested with the daughter. So I had to befriend the mother and to bring the mother close so that I can reach the daughter. Okay, you can imagine that's a man telling you that is the reason why he did that. Okay? So you'll see some discussion, people saying, like one I saw online, there was a lady who said, if you want to be safe with your daughter or with your son, don't get married to another man. Stay alone. But we are forgetting that the body changes and the body's demand are there. So do we tell them, no, don't get remarried, don't get into a relationship? Or do you learn a way that we can protect these children or keep these children in a way that they can speak out in the event there's any sign that the father or the stepfather is being abusive? Okay, so it's a challenge that comes in single parenthood, and it's something that we need to address.
So how do you have talked about the relationship in terms of me, I'm a man, I've married a single mother. How is the relationship so that it does not bring an issue between me and now the stepson or the stepdaughter? Because now I might assume the responsibility maybe of a biological father, but now that one is, there's a thin line, knowing if I'm going to put this child at risk, or the child is also at risk of being violated by this stepfather. So how do you encourage this relationship between the stepfather and the stepson or the stepdaughter, so that those who are married to single mothers, they don't feel like, now we are being targeted. So any small move is being considered like there's something fishy going on.
Oh, maybe before you get married to this man as a single mother, you need to have taken some good history. In medicine, you talk of history. You need to take time, understand, especially if this man had married before. Okay, it's good if you can be patient enough to learn why was that relationship never worked for this man.
Now you're
They invent.
Wait before you go there.
Yes.
You're talking about, you are talking like a doctor.
Yes.
You need to take history.
Yes.
So taking this history, we just sit down with this lady or the lady or the single mom sits down with the mom and they start taking history. How, just describe to me that history taking
The history taking
process.
Okay. When you meet this guy or this lady, you need to understand his social history. His social history, because maybe you can ask him some questions that might also irritate him or can give a sign whether this man is violent. There's a question you can ask and you will note how he is responding or she is
Like which one?
responding.
An example.
Okay? For instance, you can get this is a lady asking a man, tell me about your previous relationship, what happened? And this guy anakwambia chana hiyo story, I don't want to talk about it. Okay? And then ukiangalia the facial expression, how he's behaving, even it can tell you this guy maybe he's bitter about the previous relationship or he just want to hide it all time. Okay? But if for this man, who according to him, everyone talks about his story. He doesn't talk about the other party who is not there.
There is no one who is going to talk about that.
Exactly.
I was the violent one in the other relationship. You'll always say, oh, I was the one, oh, I was doing everything. I always hear those stories. I was doing everything, I was doing that. But he left me.
Have you got anyone who told you that I was the problem?
Yes.
Yes. Have you ever met one?
Let's put that on a break. Guys, let's put that on a break. I want to bring something sweet. We are live here at TNL Hotel, Discover the Serenity. And there's a waiter here, or a waitress, a very beautiful waitress who's going to serve us as we experience the serenity. We're just encouraging you. Don't let us experience this serenity alone. You can come and also experience it. Welcome. Yes.
Excuse me, gentlemen.
Okay.
Thank you.
Here's the tea.
Thank you.
It's a very big mug.
Excuse me.
Is it a mug or a pot?
It's a box.
That's the right one.
Here's the tea.
And TNL, they are good in choices. They choose beautiful human beings to come and serve. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So we were going on before we start experiencing this
The
serenity.
serenity and the serenity.
Yes.
Yes.
So you were talking about something that you were mentioning about the relationship and the body language.
Yes.
And you talked about asking questions of the past. But when I was explaining to you that most people do not like to talk about
Themselves.
themselves, it's always him or her. She did this to me, I was doing this and she did this to me. There's no one who can tell you that. So, and when you find a good pretender, because I was told with a certain person that, for example, in terms of the ladies, they observe a lot before they can give you what you want. So if you've been always telling that I want a lady who is God-fearing, like this, I will camouflage myself into that. So when you ask me questions, they exactly fit what you want. So it is going to be very difficult for you even to come out and say, now I've gotten exactly what I wanted. But yet, the person has camouflaged themselves. So how do you do that screening, the way you're mentioning, that screening, that diagnosis, that, okay, this is tick, this tick, those questions, so that you tick and ensure you have the right person, or you're going to have a healthy engagement.
There's this lady who told me they love lies. Yeah, and I was just having a discussion with this lady. How comes sometimes you play hard, yeah, and then you give in later on, and why? You also looking for this guy, but you are buying time. She told me that it's good to be light. Yes, you feel good. So I told them, so are you supporting men lying? Because she said most of the time they lie and we get into it. So what happens, most of the cases, if this lady has moved from this relationship and going to the next one, you realize that at that time the lady is vulnerable. Okay, this lady maybe she has gotten broken, and she wants somewhere to cling in, and one of the person who can come close maybe is a friend. Okay, if not a friend, or maybe may she's somewhere in the market, and another gentleman approaches her because this man and I realize this lady is undergoing some trauma. So the way this man will approach, and the way this lady will feel comfortable to this man, and the man might decide now, let me take advantage of this lady. So normally, before you go to the next relationship, have a closure of the previous one. And you have to accept that there is a problem I'm having. I need to go heal. Then from there, I'm okay. Am I in a position that I can make the right decision? And I know influence and I know any pull. Of course, people have met in the club. And the lady had gone there to club. And there is the man, anakuambia vile atakufanyia. Okay? But now, that question we asked about, I told you about, you ask this man about the previous relationship, hataki kudisclose. Okay? Then if he's not disclosing to you, and you feel like this man is the man that I think I can spend a lifetime with, don't you think that is not right? Okay? This man needs to be open. Despite of him not disclosing his bad behavior in that relationship, let him explain to you what happened. Then it's upon you to find out the other side of the story. Okay? If you realize this man was violent in the previous relationship, what tells you that he won't be violent in your relationship? So really that one tells you this man is violent. You might say there's that room for change. Okay? And that's maybe people can argue in that way. Which when you look at it, like several cases that I've had, ukiuliza, when you ask the survivor about her being in this marriage, and you ask her, what do you know about the previous marriage of your husband? She will tell you, this guy was violent, but he told me he will change. That lady was the problem. Remember, she never gets the story of the other side. So when it comes here, still the violence continues. Okay. So that is when it comes to violence in between these two partners, the mother and the father.
The father dies.
Now, the violence to these children now. Remember, when a man or a lady is beating the man, or the father is beating the mother, physically, you will think that the mother is the one who is being affected. Yet you are beating the mother in front of your children. So you are also abusing these children in terms of the emotion. And remember, one of the hard things to heal is the emotion aspect, the mental aspect. It's not like you get a scratch, you're gonna heal the scar, will go maybe depending on the severity of that injury compared to the mental, which the part of the mental is not taken care of most of the time. Okay? And that is the big part that needs to be taken care of, needs to be looked into. And that's why for us, the survivors who come to our centers, they are taken through trauma counseling, 5 minimum. Yes. The much they need depends on the assessment they go on. And when you look into these survivors who have undergone through this trauma counseling, they come out strong. They come out now believing in themselves, understanding their rights, and able to make right decisions. Yeah. So, the single motherhood or single parenthood comes in where everyone wants to be loved. Okay? And that's where this lady has stayed without a man, and the aspect of love comes in. So she can enter into it.
And I think when you have mentioned that, it is people do not take when they're starting issues of relationship, they don't take them serious because they just want the good vibes, the good things, but they don't sit down and talk about those serious things that matter in that relationship. And there was an interesting part that it was really interesting, but I learned something. There was a guy who had taken a lady out, and that kind of date, I was somewhere and I was saying, this kind of date is too serious. The guy was like doing an interview to this lady, where you come from, how many are you now? There's no issues of love or what. He's just asking, he's just finding out the history, the family history, and how, what she believes in. And that was a serious discussion that I felt. How many are going to take serious this? Because when someone comes out of that date, he will say, that was too serious. I don't want someone who is too serious.
Definitely.
And it becomes very hard.
Definitely.
And the way you are saying, you need to do screening, even in a good way. Then
you cannot, from the religious aspect of love and you loving someone the way he or she is, you realize some of this history taking and some of this that looks like an interview, it is of good. It's of goodwill, and you want something good for you. But the other person will feel, apana.
Me being interrogated,
Yes.
just because of love. No.
But which one is better? Being interrogated at that particular time and having a good flow, not being interrogated and having a very violent life.
You can see people sitting. What do you like? Me, I like everything. Me, I just anything that just is good. Then, but when you get into that marriage, that anything you have said is when it's being done, you start saying, "No, I don't like this."
You need CRE.
Yes.
You need CRE, right?
I know where you're going. Okay.
Okay, in CRE, I think there are some topics somewhere. I don't know whether it was Form 3 or Form 4 about relationship and dating. And I think there was some time when you were being told the importance of dating. Did you come across such?
Yes.
Right? And why were you being taken through such? Was it coincidence or was it by the way nikupita mtihani? No. When people go for dating, one of the aspects that they invest on is just party. Okay? They cannot go and discuss about money.
That is true.
They cannot go discuss about your family and my family. Okay? They cannot go discuss about my friends, your friends. My colleagues at work and your colleagues at work. Okay? That topic, it will help you to navigate wherever you're having issue. Your social life will not be affected. Your financial issue, life will not be affected. Your family, your in-laws, itakuwa, you have created a platform on how to address this matter.
And even the way I've just mentioned those things, contrary to most belief that cheating is the number one cause of divorce, that is not the case. Finance is the number one cause of divorce, and that is the topic we always avoid. So I want to take you back, and when you talked about screening, this part of screening, because they always say feelings don't go to school, and it's very hard linking up these feelings and the thoughts and the mind, because no matter how you tell someone, if someone says, I feel like I love this person, I feel there's nothing you can do. People are always overwhelmed by the feelings. And behind the curtain, behind the camera, you told me, love only contributes 10% when it comes to marriage. It's not all about love. So, and when you talk about this person or this single parent, someone who is just there, who is saying, I cannot survive without him. No, I love him. I just love him. I have these strong feelings towards him. So even if you tell him, these are the red signs you are seeing. When you see me, he's telling you like this. He's telling you like this, that means he's a violent person. But you will not say, And most of the time, we always think we are the last one to change this person. Because if I'm being told you're violent, I say, I'm here now to change you. You know, I'm the fixer. And that mentality cost so many people. Because you don't go there screening the way you've said, but you go there with feelings. And as I mentioned, these feelings don't go to school. So you come out when you're illiterate and things have happened along the way that have made you realize that I'm being violated.
Feelings, most of the time, they lie. You are not supposed to make a decision based on feelings. You're not supposed to make your decision based on emotions. You're supposed to make your decision using your brain. And you must be in that capacity of making that decision. Okay? You cannot make a decision when you're drunk. Okay? You cannot make a decision because, for instance, this is a lady maybe have been impregnated. Does she automatically qualify to be your wife?
So pregnancy does not qualify you to make her wife.
Yes, of course, right? So, because if you make a decision, if you have never thought of making this lady your wife, if you have never discussed, then pregnancy comes in. It's a difficult channel that you can go through. See? Because at that particular time, it was maybe some pressure. It was maybe what are the society going to say. And that's one of the ways that people talk, ati mimi nilimuoa kwa sababu ya mtoto. Okay? So already, when you tell already, unaambia dem nilikuwa kwa sababu ya mtoto, already you are emotionally hurting this lady. Na pengine kwake alishasema, asha switch kabisa, ni hapa. So from there, depending with the reaction from this lady, and imagine ukianza kusema hivyo, it means that some violence is coming in. Emotional violence. Na inaanza kwa maneno. Then the next thing is physical. So always decision should be made not based on feelings. If you talk of love and marriage, because tell me how when a man says that nitakupenda na mtoto wako, I love both of you. Okay?
Wewe ndio unajifanya now having two thoughts about it. Nitakupenda na mtoto wako.
Yes.
It's not what you think, but okay.
No. Nitakupenda na mtoto wako. I'll take good care of you. You know, this lady feels good. Because most of the time, they are, as we say, they are vulnerable. Remember, they are looking forward, they are looking for love.
And when you talk about the child, you are winning her heart.
Yes. Okay? So, you take the responsibility of this child again. But now, depending with the character of this man, we have very good men. Very good men. But there are some few men who feels like the child who is there can also become your another small wife. Okay? To fulfill your sexual desires. And that's where ladies who are singles, wherever you get into marriage with this man, you be very cautious. You teach your daughter, your son on how to work out things. Don't let your daughter or your son that he or she cannot come out and tell you, mommy, this is what is happening, daddy, this is what's happening. Okay? And these women, these ladies, they should also not be overprotective to your husband because maybe he's the sole economic supporter. And if you notice that a man tells you, don't go to work, I'll provide everything, you should start running.
There's a danger.
You should start running. What do you think is coming in? Control. And if you get a man who wants to control, really that is not a good man. Okay? So, taking history, you know, I was watching another clip of Njigi Wajigi. He was saying a man needs to look into several factors. Just achukue dem. So, alisema this lady should be pretty.
Attractive to the eyes.
Yes, attractive to the eye. And he said we need to take a history, family history. Where in that family is a mad person. Because you don't want your children you don't want your lineage to have a mad person. Yeah? Some of medics are looking where there is a chronic condition that is running in the family so that they can evade also. But to see some people say you're being discriminative, you need to love someone the way he or she is, but that is just covering the whole thing. But the truth is, you have heard of some men running away from their wives because they have given to a child who is disabled. Okay? And they say, equal to this one, he has never been in our family. So it is from your family. So imagine taking a good history, taking that interrogation, that interview you're talking about in a good way so that you can avoid this thing. That one will create peace.
I think we should encourage that interview. I don't know if you have done that interview. Instead of just doing fun, because nowadays people, they are more moved with the physical appearance, how she is, and that is enough. But you forget, you also need someone who has values, someone who can be able to step up, someone who, when you sit down, there's something you can discuss about. You know, there are some people, if you start a conversation, a very serious one, they don't have any content on that. What they can tell you is just, I want to look good, I want to make up, all those things. But that serious conversation on maybe finance, on issues of how to handle the family, we normally overlook when you're starting, but they end up affecting. So maybe if there are comments, just from the TikTok live, are there comments? Okay, not yet. Guys, we encourage you, if you're following up, we encourage you, if you have any comment or anything you want to share, we are here live and we are talking about gender-based violence, especially among single parents, especially single mothers who have gotten into marriage again. So, in this case now, for example, you have talked about issues of gender-based violence, especially to single mothers. Now, the single men, where do they come in? Or the single parents who are fathers, how do they handle it? Should they also be do the same way like the single mothers are also doing screening and doing all those things so that they can understand the other person whom they are getting into marriage with? Or is it the same way? Or what is on the side of men who are the single
the screening
fathers?
should be both ways.
So it should be both.
Imagine you have a son or a daughter and you are bringing in another lady who is not their biological mothers, and this mother is violent. You saw there was an incident of I don't know whether it was a mother who alipiga mtoto msumari kwa kichwa.
Yes.
See, in such cases, you are becoming violent to the children, and maybe we don't know why she did that. Maybe it's because of the father who pissed him or pissed her off. So you still need to look into this lady so that you can be able to understand how can she handle such pressures, the emotional aspect, and how can she make decisions. Okay, in terms of finance also. You can have someone who just I want to buy a car. Yes, it's okay. There is no objection or a second opinion. Okay, I want my son to go to this school. It's okay. Imagine someone is telling me it's okay. Are you comfortable with that? If you are told like that,
have we lost? I think now that statement brings in that we have lost the values. The values are now money, because as long as you have resources, I think you have everything. The values on how his personality is not considered so much. And that is why we are having a lot of challenges, I think so. And money brings control, the way you have also mentioned. So it also begs the line that for this thing also to start, it also to end, it also starts with us, the kind of values we are instilling in ourselves, in our children. Because when they grow up, you can come in with your own values, but the way I've been brought up is different. It's going to be very hard for me to fit into that. Yes. So this, for example, the children who have been brought up with in a single parent household, maybe there was only with the mother. You find when they get into a relationship, the statistics have shown that it's always they are always extra good, and then they end up leaving most of the responsibility to their wives, because they say, if my mother did it, if my mother was able to raise me alone, then what is hard for you, and you're also a woman. So, but that one comes in later, not when the relationship is starting. Because when the relationship is starting, they only show the good side. But when you have settled into it now, you start seeing the deep-rooted characters of people, which now becomes very hard. And it will be very interesting that most of these single mothers, they moved away from the first relationship because maybe of violence. Then they end up getting into another relationship now, which is bad. Is it a cycle? Is it something that when you've been violated, it follows you? Or is it something that you can prevent?
So unfortunate. Because it has happened. There's that violence that follows you. And someone was saying, if this is following you, maybe you are the problem. Which I don't think whether it's true or it's not. Okay?
You can't be the problem.
You can't be the problem.
Because maybe you're not healed enough to make better decisions.
I think the society is the one which is unfair to these men and women. This pressure that is coming from the society that you must be married is another problem. Because even some of them are getting into it because they want to feed themselves so that no one tells them. Some of them are getting into it so that they can be given some responsibility and roles in the church, which the church says that if you are not married, you cannot be so and so in the church.
Yes.
Okay? So most of these decisions are based on the society, pressure, and the outlook. What will people say about me?
And these potential perpetrators use that as a strength. Say, now you have a child who is going to marry you. Come, you see an old person saying, who is going to marry you? Come, I have everything. I'm going to give you a home. I'm going to make your wife, which is going to bring dignity to you. So people have equated that marriage as a standard to give you dignity, as a standard to gauge if you can be given other responsibilities, especially in the church. And I think how you have mentioned is we need to rewrite the narrative that marriage is not a get-through for you to do anything or to do what you want to do. That's what is very unfair. Now to come back to these cases you've been handling, when you find that case of, for example, a single mother who has remarried and she has come with that case of GBV again, how do you handle it? Do you handle it previously the way it was, or what do you do now to make sure this thing does not recur again? Because of course she came first. She got that support, and then she has gotten into another marriage, and this has happened. Now, how do you handle that?
It depends with the assessment that you will do. If she has come physically abused, you need to manage her. You have to treat this mother. You need to make sure she's safe, she's stable, and if she shows that she cannot go back home because of that violence that still goes there, you have to provide safe space. That's where now we do the multisexual, where we link to the place where she can get safety. Then you give this mother or this lady information concerning whatever has happened, so that she is able to make a decision on her own. Okay, that's another form of empowering her. So you provide the information, she makes the decision. You don't make the decision for her. Okay? Then you take her through counseling. with our counselors. So with time, you remember she cannot make the decision at that particular time. Once she's done with the counseling, that's when she can be able to decide which way out. But you cannot tell this lady, you move out of your husband's. Okay?
Don't you feel like at some time when you get these recurrent cases, you feel like telling her, you move out? Why? Do you have that urge at some point, or you just say, let me just keep quiet?
Very true, you have that urge. Not once, very many times.
Very many times.
Yes.
But you handle it professionally.
Yes, you can't give that information. You can only guide. Yes, the decision depends on her, but you try as much as possible to provide the required information.